friends, welcome back to my channel. 100 years ago, I told you that I was going to give you a final roundup and commentary on my makeup usage for 2019, and it just got away from me, as so many things have over the course of this year thus far, but I'm finally ready to talk about it, and I really hope that you are excited to hear about it. Before I go any further, I just want to let you guys know that in the description box, you'll be able to find my 2019 makeup inventory video and my 2020 makeup inventory video. I do suggest you might want to watch that to get a better idea of the individual categories, because today I'm going to be talking more holistically. In my 2020 inventory, I did list down below, as I showed you each category and what I had in there, what I had in 2019 versus what I had starting 2020. Overall, I feel like 2019 was a very successful year. I finally got to a place mentally, emotionally, where I was ready to declutter. For so long, I was of a mindset that I wanted to use every single item up in my collection. And one, that would just not be realistic. I had way too much makeup for that to be possible. And two, makeup is really meant to be fun, in my opinion. It should be fun and joyous, and forcing myself to use products that have basically expired or just aren't very good compared to other things that I have just doesn't jive with the philosophy of makeup should be fun. So when I really came to that realization and was ready to declutter, it was so freeing. It definitely hurt. It hurt to see that I had wasted all of that money, or that I had wasted all of that product, maybe a little bit of both. But looking at my collection now, I feel really good about it. I feel like my collection is really curated to my preferences, and I just every day love playing with makeup. It is just one of those fun pastimes that I get joy out of, and I'm happy to be able to share with you guys. So in these numbers, just so we're clear, I am not including any of my palette type items. So there are no drugstore eyeshadows or like high-end, bigger palette drugstore items. Unintentionally in 2019, when I originally filmed that inventory video and then made my big spreadsheet to go along with it, I didn't include palettes. By the time I got to that drawer, I was just too tired. It does take a lot of energy and time for me to film those. I'm not complaining, I'm just stating. So by the time I got to that drawer, I was like, screw it, I'll just film a different video for it. And then for my drugstore, and because I did it that way, I never put them into my spreadsheet. And I honestly didn't feel very compelled in 2020 to do it either. I don't know why. So these numbers don't include that, but you guys know, if you watched my channel in 2019, I did a lot of high-end or larger palette scrutinizing, and I got rid of a ton. I don't know the exact amount offhand, but I got rid of a ton. So we'll start with items that I used up. So things that I actually physically used start to finish was 71 items. That is wild. That to me is so wild. I feel like that number is very representative of a lot of sample or deluxe size things. I don't differentiate in my number counting between a full size or a deluxe size or a sample size product. I just count all the numbers. For whatever reason, that was the mentality I wanted to take, because they all take time and effort and energy to use. It doesn't matter if it's full size or not. So I feel like that number really represents a lot of those smaller products, and 71 is a ton. Like, I never, if you had asked me at the start of 2019, Victoria, how many things do you think you're going to finish up in 1 year? I don't think I would have ever said 71. That just feels like a ton of items. And I also kept track of the monetary value, which was $729.69. That's a lot. That's a lot of product that I have paid for, and I'm very happy to have gotten usage out of, but that's a lot of money. And I just don't need to be spending that much money on products. So my hope and my goal is that I can really continue to get usage out of the items that I have, and then not necessarily buy surplus, but just sort of buy one or two at a time, so I have a little bit of variety, but not an excess amount of variety where it's sort of ungodly and I don't need to have that much. So pleased with that number, but also a little overwhelmed by those two statistics. Once I saw how much I had used up physically, I really felt like my decluttering numbers had to be more than that. I thought there was no way I could have used up more products than I just threw out or donated to friends and family. And I was surprised to find that it was less than. Now, again, that could be skewed if you think about all of my eyeshadow palettes that I'm not including in that number, but you know what? We're just gonna have a little bit of grace with the way I've done my calculations. So according to my methodology, I decluttered 54 items. That's still a lot of product. It's not insubstantial, and I'm very torn about that statistic. On the one hand, I'm really happy that I got rid of a lot of things that just weren't jiving with my philosophy of makeup giving me joy and having fun with it. But at the same time, I like feel icky that I wasted that much money or that I wasted that much product. Like, it's just not good. It's just not good. And I know I'm not alone in this, and I know that some of it was just me getting caught up and not really learning moderation as I was becoming immersed in this lovely makeup world and community. And I'm kind of a person who has somewhat of an obsessive personality where if I like something, I really like it and I really go all in. And I had to learn along the way that doesn't quite work with makeup. You can love something and be obsessed with it and not have to have a bajillion of that particular item. So it's been a journey, but we're here on the other side of it. When I sat down and calculated and added up what that resulted in for money, it ended up being $519.04. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to have, not gotten your worth out of or to have spent and sort of wasted. Again, that's just a lot. It's a lot. I really thought that I would declutter a lot of items, but again, if you had asked me in 2019 at the start what I would do, I wouldn't have said that figure. I think I would have said like 20 things, but no, I really was scrutinous, and I'm glad I was. Just, again, mixed feelings. I'm still like processing all of that. So once I looked at those two categories individually, I decided to look at them together and holistically, and in total, it was 125 items that I removed from my makeup collection. Whether that was through using it up entirely or it was just me deciding that it was no longer a product that worked for me, that is a ton of product. I had never really counted the entirety of a makeup collection. Again, I don't know what I would have randomly estimated the number of products to be, but that number doesn't include application method. It doesn't include brushes. It doesn't include like sponges. It doesn't include any of those other things that I also use. So just the sheer volume of product was a lot to take in. And I then decided to count what was left in my collection. And when I started this year, I had still 169 items. Non-eyeshadow palette items, mind you, 169 items. That is wild. That is a wild number. Like, here I was thinking like, ooh, girl, pat yourself on the back. You did such a good job, like whittling down your collection. It feels like so narrowed down and small. It is not small. 169 items is not small. Now, again, I'm not going to be like overly harsh on myself. This is a process and a journey, and I am enjoying the process and journey, but like, that statistic is a lot. And here's what I'll say, coming into 2020, I don't think I will be decluttering as much as I was decluttering in 2019. So when I sat down and thought about like what categories of makeup I still felt like are a little bloated and I could probably really scrutinize it and get it down a bit more, I felt like bronzer, blush, and highlight were the three categories that I haven't paid enough attention to. With all the other things I was doing in 2019, didn't have time for those three categories. So I'm going to definitely make an effort this year to look at those. I've talked about that before, and I will report back on what I decide to do with them. But aside from those three categories, I don't feel like there's a surplus of product being removed from my collection unless I actually use it up. Now, granted, I do still have a number of like deluxe or sample size items. I still have a bunch of pencil eyeliners that need using. I have still, I think, half of my primer collection is sample or trial size items. I took in a bunch of single eyeshadows that I probably need to focus on and get some usage out of, but the reality is I definitely think in 2020, I'm going to be doing less decluttering, which means that unless I do more using up than I did last year, that 169 number is probably going to hold pretty steady. And I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about having that many items. I also will admit, as I sit here and talk to you guys, I don't have an ideal number in my head. Like, I'm not like, you know what, 100. That will be the number that will make me feel great. I don't think it will work like that. I think it will just be when I stop having more than 2 or 3 things in a category. That is really the ultimate aim and goal. I don't think I'll ever pull that goal off with blush or highlight because I really do love variety. But when it comes to things like setting powders, foundations, mascara, eyeliner, primer, those many categories, I don't think I need to have that much variety. Do you? I don't think I need to. So we'll see how it goes. If you guys have any requests for videos you want to see that are connected to this, please let me know in the comments below, because I'm not sure, aside from, you know, the year-end video and also starting the year by doing my inventory, I don't know much more that I could do for that. But if you have suggestions or ideas, you guys know I'm always open to those, and I will happily incorporate them if I think that they will jive with the type of content that I create. But I don't know, this is sort of where we are at with 2020. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I feel a lot of different emotions, but either way, I am looking forward to seeing where the year takes me and what I am able to accomplish in the year of 2020. So I want to say once again that I appreciate you guys spending some of your day with me. I look forward to hearing your thoughts about these numbers and things that I discussed with you, and I'll talk to you in my next video real soon.